Let's go! Welcome to the show. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with me, cause it's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. Let's get a topic straight. Let's get things good. Let's do everything that we should. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. Let's open our minds and take out our style. Let's see what's going on in the world tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's get the show off right. Alright guys, what's going on? This is your boy Tig of Project Open Mic. This is a special Project Open Mic. Normally in this spot it will be straight no chasers as a Tuesday, but it's something that I needed to talk we need to talk about because last week to this week is basically where a lot of the Supreme Court let all their rulings out. So basically Friday will be the last day. So there might be some more stuff that's coming out, as I just learned about some stuff just a second ago, of new laws, rules, officiating, and all kind of stuff that's going to be going down. But the reason tonight is a different show altogether is I have a person who's contributed to the channel before. Basically, you can see the playlist if you go to YouTube. Andre Mike, is it Mike? Where would I put it at?
Andre's Mike.
This Andre's Mike. Yeah, you got a playlist of Andre's Mike. And he did a video on one of his channels that he does with gaming where I get to know him at, and we're gonna just have a conversation on the Roe vs. Wade, but mostly more the Supreme Court and some of the laws, because he brought up some interesting things in the videos they have, which we will play those videos for you guys. So without further ado, Andre, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, things could be better, but you know, life goes waxes and wanes, has ups and downs. I'm just, as you already know, there's a lot of stuff that people are concerned about with some changes and rulings being overturned or being added.
Okay. Yeah. And it's been crazy going on right now. Things that shouldn't be a certain way. So, and also we'll be, like I said, we'll be talking about Roe v. Wade. Most of these people, most of you guys still watching this right now, understand how things are. In the description for the places that have descriptions, so that'll be Facebook, YouTube, Temper FM. There are links to prior videos that I've talked about this stuff itself, so you can have the context of where I'm coming from in it. So that's why I'm gonna play his video. He has 2-part video on his channel. I want to play those, and we go do the conversation from there. That's cool with you, sir?
Yep, that's good with me.
Okie dokie. So we're going to go to that, and I'm gonna be there. Let me see and play. Give me a second. Put in the spot. So, all right. So first video that he has is called Roe versus Wade Aftermath, and we're playing it right now. In the whole video, so everybody could hear what's going on.
Yep.
Hello there, everyone. This is Andre, and I'm just talking to you as Andre, even though my moniker is still me. In this sense, I'm not coming from an angle of that particular way of thinking. So, Roe v. Wade got overturned, and it's something that I could see as being very horrible for a lot of people. I mean, outside of the exclusively very wealthy, many people are going to be hurt bad by this. And while I do feel for the right to abortion being taken away, even if I don't agree with every situation that it's used in, I do understand that there are some situations where it is either a medical necessity or even something that would be a necessity for people's mental health and potentially the well-being of the potential child or children that would come from it. So it sucks all ways around. But that's not the only thing that got affected. I've said it several times on different posts on social media that, hey, this gets overturned, you lose your personage. You lose your rights to personal information and who gets to see it. So basically, let's just go with this. For example, you have a medical condition that doesn't necessarily affect you, but it's just something that you have. Well, now an employer can, well, not now, but if HIPAA's precedence is overturned, you'll be left in a situation where an employer can look at your medical history and just decide and deem you not someone they want to work with or not have at the company, and they still don't have to tell you why. Like anybody at this point with if that gets overturned would be able to just reach into your medical history and see things about you that really aren't their business. And then there's the overturning of, well, basically you can't sue police officers for violating your Miranda rights. So it's more about control. And now they're looking towards overturning gay marriage, and even if anyone of the same sex could be intimate with them, with someone. Like, I honestly, you shouldn't be diving into what's going on in other people's bedrooms if no one's being hurt. That's not everybody's business. But again, rights to privacy are being taken. And there was even a guy who had suggested bringing back a thing which was in the 1950s, which led to the lynchings and murders of a lot of black people. And this guy was a black Republican. Now, I'm not going to say, hey, all Republicans or all conservatives are shitty people, because they're not. But you want to bring back a committee that was responsible for lynchings and murders of people who look like you, without even thinking about the potential consequences of it coming back onto yourself. We are in a time where people are not thinking about the consequences of what they're doing, but following a trail of money to where they can make the most of it. And that is highly dangerous. I worry about what's going to happen, because the more that cases get overturned, that means more rights will be revoked. I think there's a thing even going now, like over a case of being able to be in interracial relationships. I was like, everything that boils down to you having any sort of personal choice or freedom for yourself, for your life, for what's necessary for you, is being taken away. And I know I'm not the biggest person on social media, but I do hope that more people get to hear this and understand that, hey, your life is being taken from you and you're not going to be left with much choice or option, because people want to fight and argue over the smaller details of something because of their own personal interests, not realizing that the more you fight for just your personal interest and not the interest of the majority of the whole group, you are going to make it more and more easy for anything that was a right of yours to be taken away. And it's also going to be easier for you to be wiped off the face of the map with not a word said about it. And no one will know. And that is very concerning. That's very worrying. That's scary because of how dangerous it is. And all because there are a few people in power that have the money to make those decisions. And they're making those decisions because of their own personal desires and wants. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to play around with it. That's what it boils down to. There's a few people in the upper crust of the upper crust, making these decisions. And at this point, it should be highly apparent to everyone. And the even worse thing is that all this information is just sitting out for people to find if they really want to look it up. Like the birth dearth. Look that up. That's a book that's written that kind of lays out what's happening now with the whole abortion thing. And then I would say read like the book, The National Sunday Law. I read that in high school. It's an interesting read. There are others, but I don't know the names of all of them. But those are the two that I can think of off the top of my head that I think would be worth looking into. While everybody's busy squabbling and arguing with each other because they use one thing as the poster child to move and do other things, just remember that the more you focus on arguing with your fellow man, your neighbor, your close friend over smaller issues, the bigger ones are being hidden behind your back, away from where you can see, and is being decided upon before you have any chance to react to it. And that is the case right now. And again, there are a multitude of books with this information that's sitting out and open and available for people to get, and others are banned for having this information in it and potentially becoming popularized. But it's worth taking the time to look into them, because if all this keeps going on, people's lives are going to be horrible. And we'll go from potentially having freedoms to living under totalitarianism. So, yeah, there's a lot to think about. I don't mind people saying what they want to say. But I also don't want people to be able to just take away my ability to do something, or anyone's ability to do something that might be a necessity for them. It would be one thing to say, hey, I don't agree with you. It's another thing to say, because I don't agree with you, you don't deserve to be able to do what you need to do or live how you want to live. But I don't want to drag this on too much more.
All right. So basically, I know it's harder for you, Andre, since you got the hangout and everything, but we just finished playing your first video.
Mm-hmm. I can.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we just finished the first video. So I get I'll go with this part. You know, give me a second. Let me switch back the screen to us. Okay. So I agree on the whole part. The latter part of your video, you were saying that how some of these laws are set up to be what it is. Basically, I'm a libertarian. I think that we need, and I'm not one of the crazy libertarians, but I say we do need laws, but we need order. We don't need, but there are freedoms that are being taken away piece by piece. And the one thing I've learned from my years, and you're close to me age as well, to Andre, is like, when people get a lot of stuff mixed up with God-given rights and man rights, the thing about it is you could give up. If a man gives you rights, they could take it away.
Yeah,
So
very quickly too.
yes. So that's the situation that I try to my best. I want the tree branches to do what it's supposed to do. See what's going on with the law, legislative branch, make the law, executive law, execute the law. But we don't have that no more in the last 20 years. It's been
No,
not
definitely
that for the
don't.
last 20 years. So now I myself don't care about to be, and people have heard my video stuff, and I'm gonna let you do on Andre. The other people's like, where this video at your side of the road and stuff like that. I was like, I didn't. That's in the
I,
chat.
I was I was walking
I know
while I was
you. I
talking.
know how you do your stuff and you're walking. Yeah, he was like, where's the cars going on? I have police. You and I'm like, the chat's going stupid. That's what it is.
So I often walk, and when a thought hits me, I don't want it to go dead before I can say anything. So I'd rather say it while it's fresh on my mind, and I can give my most honest bellowing of it, I guess, rather than look for the proper time and place where maybe half of my thoughts have drifted away from me, or I don't articulate as well as I want to.
No, and good. Like I want him to say that. So okay, so stop the comment in the chat. You guys acting stupid. Anyway, we're up to like 12,000 people right now, so that's good. Now because like I said, this is just a regular video that pops up on thing, not a live broadcast. And I'll check. I'll take. And if you guys got questions for what you're hearing, I'll ask Andre and that. I don't want to get this to be a long video like a normal project with Mike, but I just wanted to do this because I said I wanted to respond to this. So now comes the front part of the video. And I'll state this right here. I myself don't care what a woman want to do with a child. My thing is the accountability thing, which I'll get into. But my thing is, I don't answer for your sin, you don't answer for my sin, and I think of it as that. But I don't whatever. If you want to go have abortion, it's all right. Go ahead and do that on your own money and on your own dime. Now it goes to what Andre said. Yes, this will affect more poor people than rich people. Yeah, it is automatically. Not denying that at all. But my thinking of like this is less like the whole abortion thing is like I said that you do it on yourself. Other than the special terms of, you know, baby disformament, emergency pregnancy for a woman, rape, incest, and I would say if it's incest, mostly still rape. But those four things, yes, I have no problem helping somebody who went through a horrible thing because I had people who I know people who did get raped. And they didn't get a child of it, but it was just horrible stuff. So I don't think they want to carry that memory of it. Some people have done that, some people have not. But that's their choice, and I'm pro that. If they want to make that choice, let them do it.
That's I fully agree with that. I mean, I don't agree when people just do it just because there are ways to prevent it from happening.
Mm-hmm.
But there are situations where it's needed, where it's a necessity,
Yeah.
and you're basically saying, okay, even if it's a necessity, you can't do it in this place, and that place because we said we don't believe in it. Like, why? What difference does it make? Is it going to hurt you? Is it going to bother you in any way, shape, or form? No, it's not. It is legitimately not going to do anything to you if that girl down the road had an encounter with an estranged uncle she doesn't know and something happened from it
Mm-hmm.
because of what he did to her. But then I also think about the potential in this because this recently happened. There was a guy who was statutorily assaulted by a woman when he was a teenager. She went to prison, did time for it, had the child. She still has the child, but now she's able to put him on child support.
Yep. I know that story.
I was like, hold on, that doesn't make sense. He didn't ask for or want the child. It was kind of forced on him. So it both ways it's going to screw people over.
Yes. And
And
that's
we
go ahead.
also, we've got too many people arguing about, well, because you don't have this, you shouldn't be able to comment on this. I'm like, no, that's the worst. If you do that, you're dividing everyone. The more you divide everybody, the easier it is to conquer you piece by piece by piece by piece.
Yeah. And that's mostly what they want to do, conquer this separate anyway. Right? We know that. And like I said, I know that story because I did talk that story on one of my episodes. I don't remember which episode it is, but I've talked about that same thing, like what Andre just brought up. Another thing though is also like, let's get let me make this part clear. Roe v. Wade got overturned on the federal part, means that the states choose what it is. Not it doesn't ban abortion. It just let the states choose if they want to do that, because there are repercussions. Like, you can't do nothing to some of these, and I know that from me being active in the vote and everything. These upper politicians in DC and all that stuff, they barely get any backlash to what they need to do. They don't.
Yeah,
But the
they don't.
local, and you guys have heard me multiple times. I've said this. Your local stuff makes a difference. Those guys you could throw around, you could do stuff, you could talk, whatever. Again, yes, some of the senators are jerks. I'm not gonna deny that. In North Carolina, we got a couple of jerks we have here. Like I said, with John Edwards, try to, happy he didn't become president because he was a narcissistic prick. So
Yeah, well, we had one of those in office already.
we
We've
have
had stuff in office,
everybody's
but
not. If you're gonna be a president, you're gonna be narcissistic. But to be with another woman while your wife's on cancer and all that stuff, yeah, that was not cool, John. But that's not what we're talking about. I'm just saying local stuff is that, because remember pointing out with Puerto Rico, and with Puerto Rico, like, they got stuff, but because of politics at a local level, the governor withheld water from their own people. You remember the video I showed you guys about that? And when they had the earthquake, what happened? Baby formulas, food, and everything. They would tell that from their own people. So you forget what the federal does. The local does more damage to you. In most cases, you see that more day by day than the federal in most cases. So that's
yeah,
that was stay with that in that regard. So yes, there are about some states that's gonna have ratifications and changes and all that stuff. They have that, and there's a lot of states that's gonna be, hey, have abortion and stuff. We gonna go to, I'll give it. Let's get it two extreme ends. Mississippi want to go with they want to ban it outright in most cases, and that's the extreme end. And I don't agree with that, and that's me and Audrey just talked about. Then you got California, that basically is a abortion sanctuary state. So you can come, and they will literally pay for you to come to their state, give you hotels, go get the operation, everything, get that done for free, or should I say on the Californians' dime, which I don't like that either. You gonna buy the plane ticket and all that stuff, whatever. So those are the two extreme ends, but there's a lot of stuff in the middle. That's what's going on. So the one thing I'm gonna list down a lot of stuff, Andre, and you tell me what you think, because I'm gonna point out some stuff in here. And, oh yeah, I did have a comment. I did put a comment on you. For some reason, it didn't show up on your page, which is weird. I don't know why. I pressed it. Huh?
it's YouTube, because I've noticed that I've missed some comments, and I'll go back and try to respond to them, and they just disappear.
Yeah, one of the comments was you asking about the quote, and I don't have the video on this computer. I have it on my other computer. So the quote you talk about, if you want to hide things for black people, was a joke by Chris Rock in his first special, which I've used in my Metroid video. Book, not a book, no. And he was
No, because I actually remember hearing that was from somewhere else before then. So I
yes,
probably
and the person was Malcolm X when he was talking. I forget which city was it, Philadelphia or New York or Harlem, when he was talking when Lyndon B. Johnson got elected, and he was talking. He was talking a speech, and he was telling people, like I say, you can't, when you were young, dumb, and whatever, you could have, but now you put a Dixiecrat. That was a term back in the days, in office. And he explained his stuff. So he said, no, you could read, but nowadays they tell people put the smart stuff in them so Negroes don't read. So that's part of the quote. I don't know if that's the two places I've heard it from me. So Malcolm X and Chris, well, Chris was a joke. Malcolm X was doing it in a real speech.
I knew about the Chris Rock joke, but Malcolm X was probably the person saying it, and I thought that someone else said it during his time frame.
It could be. I heard it from. I have, like I said, I literally have the video. I just don't have. It's on my other computer. I didn't have time to switch it to this computer so I can play. I don't know if it was Philadelphia thing, but that's what he was going on. You should not be, difference between a fox. He went all in that video, and I am gonna play one of these days straight so you guys can hear it. I never played that one on the channel. I played the other one where he's talking about who you gotta be careful of.
Oh yeah, everybody that wants to pretend to be your friend and then stab you in your back.
Yeah. So I'm gonna list out. I'm gonna this and like I said, chime in and tell me, and you can stop me, Andre, and we can have a conversation about this. So, because I'm with you that we don't need, as we started this whole thing, laws restrict freedoms in some cases. We do need order, but we need a balance, and the balance is off tilted.
Oh, it's definitely off kilter right now.
Yeah, the balance is off tilted. So, Roe v. Wade getting overturned. The news media. You already don't know. I've told you guys about the news media. One, it was never a constitutional right. It was not. Roe v. Wade. Go ahead.
I was going to say no. It was never really ratified into the Constitution.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get to that part right there. It was never ratified into the Constitution. It was also not done by the Supreme Court of the land at the time. It was Texas Supreme Court. So, also, as you guys, that's what I say. In the link has the videos. You can see what I was talking about. That you hear Roe, the person who was the plaintiff of Roe, she perjured herself and she lied. That's the sad part about it, but that's what it is. But they didn't take that into consideration. And also Roe v. Wade was not about abortion. Was about it because she didn't want the person she was with to know she had a child and she wanted an abortion, and he wanted to look into the doctor stuff. So Roe v. Wade was basically about privacy. That's what it was about.
Extremely about privacy.
It was about privacy, not abortion, but it was about privacy. Which again, I agree with the ruling of we should have our own that we should have privacy between us and our doctors. And it goes to what you were saying in your second video about the HIPAA laws and everything. So I get that. The thing about Roe v. Wade, and that's what Audrey just brought up is that, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg said it herself, and that's why I played the video in the description. You heard her words exactly. I played her video why she was against Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade never got ratified, as Andre said, because to ratify into the Constitution, you need 2/3 of the states going into that. You ain't gonna get that. We're not gonna get that for that. There's enough red states who want to ban this that you were never gonna get the 2/3. So the way they could have done it, where you had everybody say the Democrats could have codify. The only way they could have done it was for them the Congress to write a law, send it up the chain, send it up the channel. Right now, Democrats own the, Congress, Senate, and the White House. But they still would not have gotten it because in the Senate you have to have 60 votes, and that would have never gone either.
Nope.
So they did not want to make that an issue until now because they want to issue, as you heard Nancy Pelosi said all the stuff now. So the point is, the law was about privacy. It was not deemed the law of the land in the right way, as Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself said. It was the Texas Supreme Court, and we just took it to that point. The Supreme Court of the land never really ruled on it. And she was saying the reason she didn't like it because again, it didn't make it a truthful law. And she knew it could get overturned anytime she wanted. Another thing was a lot of because it would have been harder to do this stuff. The last 50 years, yes, President Trump put in the appointees as it is, but for the last 50 years, it's been run by the majority has always been on the left side or Democrat. I don't want to try to make it super political. I'm just trying to say that's what it was. So now that it's changed to conservative, that's what has changed now. That's what I have that. So I just point these stuff out because there was ways to do it. They didn't want to do it. It was never ratified. It was it was never a law to run up the poll. They could have done it, but they didn't want it because they thought, okay, if we keep the Supreme Court the way it is, then I have no problem. That's why they were trying to say, hey, let's pack the court. Let's add more states. Let's add all kind of turn Puerto Rico into a state and do all kind of stuff like that, which I'm against. And trust me, like I said, I've said it before. When what was his name? What his name is again? That I forgot his name. Nevada. Well, oh yeah, when Harry Reid knocked out the nuclear law, the nuclear, so you could just be a simple majority. And Mitch McConnell, like I said, I'm not afraid of Mr. McConnell, and no needs necessary. But when he said you'll rule the day when that happened, it came, and that's what he will do the day that happened. Now, President Trump wanted to do a nuclear deal on the judges. No, not the judge on the Senate. And again, sometimes I don't gotta agree with you. Sometimes I don't gotta like you. Right, but I am happy that Mitch McConnell stopped President Trump from making it a simple majority, because that's no way to run the country. Because as soon as the Democrats get in, they're gonna change it. So the Republicans get in, they're gonna change. You're gonna go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's so stupid.
They're going to have a lot of people bouncing back and forth on things where we need something stable.
Yeah, because the problem is, like I said, me was like, I give the example, of course, of Obama in this situation. And again, for anybody who's watching this new, I voted for Obama in 2008, then in 2012. But I'm just giving you this example. When he was a senator, he was saying, let's not get the government sneaking on people's privacy. And I was like, oh, that's great. That's something good. When he became president, what he did, he created what's that the thing again? The privacy, the thing that he used, he popped it up. That Snowden didn't want to be a part of it. I forgot the acronym.
Oh, I forgot what it was called too. I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot about what it was.
yeah, I forgot about it as well too. But it's something with an N, and I forgot what it is. Uh, Sorry about that, but I know when you guys will pop it up in the chat. But he got in office, then he did. He took it to beyond what Bush took it to, because remember, they gave the power to the Republicans with the Patriot Act, and then Obama was against that. And when he got in power, he took that, and instead of saying, okay, like you said as a senator, let's stop it, he ramped it up. So that's the problem. That's the problem. It's not the Patriot. Like I said, I know the Patriot. No, it's NRA. Not NRA. Good grief, not NRA. Sorry, not the NRA. Sorry, wrong thing. Dang it. But it's N something. NSA. Thank you. The NSA. The NSA. Obama ramped it up way beyond what the Patriot Act was supposed to be. So my thing is always, why give? Do not give just because your party is not going to be in power all the time. So why give? So if I don't, why would I give this person that power? And then when my party loses, they got the same power. You don't like it? Don't do that. I don't like that. That's why I hate it when Obama did it. I hate it when Trump did it, and of course Biden dumbly did it as well too. I don't like these executive orders. They're stupid. You're abusing the powers.
Especially when you bypassing a lot of people's basic needs and stuff. That's
Yeah. You bisecting the needs, you're bisecting a lot of stuff. It's just ridiculous. I mean, again, we don't need these executive orders. So right now, that's what I said. We need to limit some of these these powers that these guys have, because you give it right now. You give the power to Biden. Say, we don't know, but seeing how things are going in the country, it must look like you're gonna be Republicans taking back over the House again. Then they're gonna get the same power that the Democrats give the same power to Biden. So I don't like that. That's not helping anybody.
no, it's just becoming a bigger game of one-upsmanship.
Well, again, so right now they trying to. I hope they don't do the, like I said, nuclear deal for the Senate, because if they do that, then again, it's like, okay, then when you get a majority, like you get for 4 years, hey, abortion is there. Then the next 4 years, abortion is not there. It's like that's no way to rule a country. It just isn't. It's crazy. And I'm telling all the people out there again, don't think, you call it. A lot of people want to get rid of elected. Like I said, when I came to America, I didn't know this stuff, but once I figured out and learned this stuff, I'm like, okay. I first I was like, wait, well, the electric cars, it don't make no sense, blah blah blah. When I figured out why they did it, I'm like, you know what? That's a smart idea. Because if we just let again, this is a republic. This is not a democratical place.
No, it
Nation.
isn't.
It's a republic, so you have to have certain things. Because I've seen, I've seen it myself one, but everybody have seen it too. Because remember, Egypt tried to do the whole democratic stuff, and I've said this before multiple times. You give a lot of people democracy, and I mean like straight up like mob rule and democracy. We've seen it in world history, and even have now. They vote for their own dictatorship. That's what most happened. Egypt got the freedom from Mubarak. They gave it. They gave him. They gave the people that. Then they put in the brother of Islam, and they were going around slaughtering people. And then that's what the Egypt military took back over and said, "Yeah, we ain't doing this." Is it better with the Egypt military? I don't know. I don't. There's more people traveling now compared to then, but traveling to the country. I mean, but yeah, because what was that lady again from ABC that she got horribly raped? Uh, Forgot her name, but she was reporting on that stuff, and she got gang raped in Egypt by those guys. I'm like, that is just sick, man. But they didn't. But again, they didn't have no regards for women, so that's just
Eh, that was the major problem there.
that was a major problem there because again, most of the guys, wanted that kind of that part of Islam. I'm not saying Islam is all bad. I'm just saying that part, the crazy part of it, just like Christianity has this crazy part. They wanted the crazy part of it of Islam, and that's where they ended up, and then that's where they had to do stuff. So it's we gotta be careful of this stuff because people say get rid of the electoral college. I'm like, if you get rid of that, you get popularity. There's only two states that's gonna matter. No other states will ever matter when it comes to the presidency ever. Now be California and New York.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that would be bad.
And I always tell people, can you please look at those two states and see if you want the whole country to run like this? Because I don't.
Nah.
Okay, but going back to original stuff, like we saying with the laws, like yes, we got to be careful of the laws because right now, you guys know my crusade on the whole tax thing. I say if whatever state you in, you better vote no for any tax. I'm serious. These bastards put us in this situation. I don't care, and I don't care Republican, never, whatever. Anybody come asking you for money, you tell them piss off.
And put you in the situation and ask you to pay to get out of it.
Exactly. Come begging, oh, we need money for the police officer. Didn't you defund the police officers? Or we need money for the teachers. Wait a minute, but you just gave the teachers billions of dollars. Well, the unions. Let me be honest. The unions got billions of dollars, not the teachers.
The teachers.
I'll be honest.
And then on top of that, they busting down school after school after school instead of fixing them.
Yeah. Yep. I was showing a video of how the district lines is set up. You can't do certain things a certain way. And again, I played it. Andrew, 3 weeks ago, I did a video what they do in Chicago. They literally dumbing down black kids.
On purpose.
Huh?
On purpose.
On purpose, yeah. You can't discipline them. You can't kick them out of school if they're disruptive. A failing grade. What do you think? What do you think a F is in that thing? Just guess. An F.
It should be a fail.
No. I'm talking about the number. You know, like 100 to 90
Oh,
A.
that should be 50%. That should be 40%.
In this district, it is when I grew up in the Caribbean, coming up, it was 65 for us.
Oh, okay.
In the system, these guys are projected is 20%.
That's too low.
That's more than low.
I'm just going by logic, at least from how I grew up. Because A was obviously 100, B would be below 90, C would be below 80, so D would be below 70. And then we had E in Maryland instead of F.
Okay, I never had that in my life.
That was basically below 60%.
I ain't never had an E in any of my grading systems, so you beat me.
That's why I was wondering, like, we're the only state with an E, I think. Maybe not, but I think we're the
No,
only
I
one.
guarantee you California has some weird crap like that because they're doing the same thing down there too.
But I'm just like, it does logically make sense for E to be the next letter down and then F to be a letter after that. It's just,
True
I don't
that.
know why we don't have
I got you. I
an F.
can't argue that point because I just know from what I like I said. This is just in our my system from Caribbean is like that. A B C D F, A B C D
Mm.
yeah, F. That's what we had. Didn't have no E, and all the I went to NC State and all the stuff. Didn't have an E, so that's what I went with.
It's like, hey, we can agree on the first four letters. Everything after that is just whatever.
Yeah, but it's a 20. But you could graduate. You could graduate the class with a 20 with 20 with a 20%. You didn't learn nothing.
That's horrific.
You didn't learn nothing. And the sad thing about it is, you put these kids out there in the world, they're gonna have a hard time because they don't know nothing.
That on top of the fact that a lot of the life skills stuff that schools used to teach are
Gone.
wiped out.
That is true too.
Like you
That-
don't have any home ec, you don't have any shop classes, woodworking. You have nothing that teaches you how to be self-sufficient. You don't have any finance classes that are mandated for everyone to learn how to do their taxes.
that's my thing. That's always been my thing. I think we've talked about this a long time ago. I said econ 101 should be a requirement because not everybody's gonna go to college. Some people can find out work right after school.
Yeah,
I
you
think
should know how to balance your books and your paychecks and
paycheck.
plan out your money.
I know what a interest rate is, compound interest, all that stuff, so you don't get gobbled up by a lot of this stuff, in predatory lending and all that thing like that. Yeah,
Like FAFSA.
yeah. That's so that but in that place, the lady they were saying this is not good, and if you disrupt the classes, you don't get kicked out, which I would because you're messing up for other people, or if you don't show up, you don't get that don't count towards your grade. I'm like, then how the heck do they learn? If they're not in the class, how do they learn?
You don't. Well, the thing is, it's coming down. Is a lot of stuff isn't learned unless you have consequences for what you do wrong. If you
Yeah,
have no negative consequences, you don't know what you don't learn what not to do. That's worse than that's even worse than telling somebody what to do. If you don't teach them at least what not to do, they're always going to do the wrong thing.
yeah. Because if without consequences, again, I'm gonna use the Andre would know this. I will use what my mom. Okay, my mom. Like I said, what my mom did to me when I was young. Yeah, a lot of y'all would call it child abuse. So it is what it is. I'm not gonna argue with nobody out there. But you know what?
But
Go ahead.
I was going to say, but the difference between abuse and discipline is coming from a place of helping you improve. Abuse is I'm taking my anger out on you. I want to hurt you because I feel bad about something. That's abuse. Discipline is I want you to correct this action and not take it the next time when this situation falls upon you. I want you to think about this and think about what the consequences are and then look for another solution.
Sure. Yes. And Andrew is a father he has kids, so I have none. But my thing I was gonna say is I know when I learned quickly. Oh, not to do that. That's just what I'm saying. I gotta work for some reason not to do that. Let's not do that.
Hmm.
It's just like if you put your hand on a hot stove, you're like, "Ooh, hot stove. Let's not do that."
Yeah, I learned that lesson personally myself. Hot stove, 3 years old, hand right on top of the metal. Mm.
That
Never did it again.
there you go. There you go. But my thing of that is yeah, the consequences is you don't if you don't know not to show up to work or show up to school, because again the thing about it, if you teach these kids not to do their homework, then when they get out in the real world, when the boss say, hey Andre, can you finish this paperwork by tomorrow, you can't just say,
Oh,
you can't come and not show them the paperwork. They'll fire you.
yep. Then you have people blaming the people that fired them instead of looking at what they did and taking accountability for their own actions.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which
That's
that's another thing a lot of people have a problem with right now is taking accountability for themselves.
number one problem with this country is that what Andrew just said. That's the number one problem. Because right now, even when like I say, talking about the Roe v. Wade abortion thing, I got a question to ask you, so I'll ask you this way. Well, guys have two ways to protect themselves, and I always tell you, young men out there, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. Okay, and dispose of it, dispose of it, dispose of it. You don't want no Drake and hot sauce situation. But
That's still hilarious to me.
you just never know. You make sure. But all we have is abstinence and vasectomy and condoms. Now, I blame men too. If you going out there just slinging D and just and not protect yourself, whatever, you get what you deserve. I am not standing up for you. You're a deadbeat
As,
person doing that.
as I've heard on many different podcasts as of late, you shouldn't be going out shooting up every club you find a way to get into.
Exactly. So I am not protecting any man that does that. That's not my thing. But
No, that's their fault.
yeah. But on the left on the playing field that we got right here, women, you have abstinence just like us, but then you have 30 different forms. Most of them also provided by the government for free. You have 30 different forms of birth control. I'm not saying all of them is good. Not saying you're gonna mess up your body. I know that. You see me done the videos about it, but you have from the foam to condoms to IEDs to insertion to all kind of stuff that you guys can have. Then after that, you can have the afterbirth pill, and after that, if you don't want a child, you can give it up for adoption. You can just lay there on on a police or fireman's step and just give it up like that. You have more of that. Yeah. No. My question to you, Andre, because my thing is always this: a condom's not 100%, is nowhere close, is high, but it's nowhere close to 100%. Birth control on the other side of the women is not 100%. But if you combine both of them, you are damn near close, up in the 96 percentile of not gonna have problems.
You want your chances of having a child or something like that are super slim at that point.
Super slim at that point, yes. And I always told people this: there's only like 6 or 7 days that a woman basically is fertile enough to have a child. So it's just like dudes, you really are slinging it anytime you want, and then just like it's such a small window. So it's not like in that regard. But here's another thing I'm gonna say: if I'm going into battle, Andre, me and you going into battle, right? Do you want to, if you have 30 choices of a shield, you think would you just go with my shield or would you go with your own shield?
I mean, I'm not going to be planning to stand behind you the whole time.
You catch what I'm saying, right?
That'd be the most ridiculous fight ever. Like, oh, duck, so I can swing.
You want your own shield, and that's all it is. It's all to, like Andre said a while ago, responsibility, ladies, the safety too. I don't, like I said, if a guy does horrible stuff, I am never ever stand up for a guy who does horrible stuff. But ladies, you have a way, because people, I have a lot of women tell me, oh, if you was a woman, I said I'd have been in some form of birth control. I'm not gonna. I don't know if he put something, if he put a hole in the condom. I don't know nothing.
Don't trust people you don't know.
Yeah, and last
honestly, if you don't know somebody, you shouldn't be sleeping with them.
Thank you.
To be fully honest,
truthful. Both men and women.
Personally, I'm not like a lot of dudes where they just go out and look for people to bang. If I'm at all going to get involved with you in that manner, I have to know you. And how well I have to know you depends on how well we connect. If I connect with you very well, okay, maybe. But beyond that, no. And people blowing off fireworks.
Okay, I'm gonna say don't let me shot you.
Like, no, he said the wrong opinion. Fire. No.
It's when in the chat people's like, run.
It's fireworks. It's fireworks. It's one of my neighbors down the road.
they say run.
Run. Run, Andre, run! Andre's safe. Andre's safe and sound.
Oh,
Don't back
good
down.
game.
Fine.
Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy.
But just nobody wants to take responsibility for themselves.
Yeah, and
Like,
that is all I asked for. It's funny because when the verdict came down of the ruling, I remember Nancy Pelosi said the ruling was a horrible thing. It makes a lot of people now responsible for. I'm like, yes, that's the whole point. You're supposed to be responsible. You are responsible for what goes in your body. When did that ever stop?
well, it stopped when we told people that whatever happens doesn't matter because you'll find a way anyway.
Basically, and again, my point is, if you want this to be what it is like I said, they passed it back down to the states. They should have gone. You go to your electives and whatever, pull it together, and then you get. You ain't gonna, I'll be honest. You were never going to ratify it, like I said before. But
No, they never wanted to ratify that. They didn't.
no, and even if so, even if say you couldn't ratify it, you really couldn't because again, 2/3. You're not going to get 2/3 of the states to go with that. But the other way was to Congress to make a bill, get it to the Senate, and get it to the stuff, and they know it'll burn in the Senate. They just know it would have happened because how the thing is. But that's the only way you could have done it. Turn it into a law and do it. When they say codified, they don't mean no fancy stupid way they could have. They meant to what I just said right there. There was only two ways they could have made it a law. So don't let the media tell you it was never constitutional. Right? I'm saying it again. And codifying means that they had to go and Congress had to make a law, Senate annuls it, and then president signs it. That's what it's supposed to be. But
old media is what it should say. Old media will not say that because they want to play on everybody's emotion. They want to play on how you feel about something rather than trying to just give you information. And that's the big problem. Because with a lot of stuff that's happened is always sensationalism or we have to point out to this one thing that happened so that we can make people feel a certain way. And then we're going to tell them something that might not actually apply to what they're actually worried about.
Yes, exactly. And again, yes, we're going to have there are certain precedent that has been set up. Again, you brought up the stuff about, you see, here's the thing. The interracial and all the other stuff right there, that is modified underneath the 14th Amendment. So they can't really get rid of interracial marriage. The gay stuff, I don't know. I got looking more into that. I have to look.
I don't think that I did look up afterwards, and I think that was. I think the ruling can be overturned, but I'm not sure if it's ratified fully on like a national level or if it's just
it's a national level. No, that one went to the 2/3. They ratified that one.
Oh, they ratified that quickly.
Yeah, well, not quickly. It took a while to get to that spot, but
I'm saying in comparison to.
Oh, okay, that one got ratified. I mean, I don't think there's any law in the last 20 years that got ratified, really, because they're so hard to.
Well, no, because I'm kind of wondering because it makes me wonder: has the Civil Rights Act been ratified?
That one has, yes, but that's the 60s. That's why I said nothing in the last 20 years I could think of. Like from the 90s up, I don't think anything got ratified.
Yeah, nothing from the late 90s forward. I know that much.
Yeah,
nothing from the late.
The 90s civil rights forward. The civil rights did get ratified, and it's kind of going back to what you were saying. It's not a play. What it's weird because I get what you said with the whole segregation thing when you said that. And it's ratified. But it was weird because we already doing it in social media and everything. Because again, what was it? Howard University? Yeah, Howard University got a black graduation, and then they got a white graduation. And I'm like, well, you already segregated already. You doing it already without the law. Which is
bad thing. The bad thing is people doing it based on stigmas. Some stigmas are good stigmas to have. Others are not.
But everything's a balance.
Different conversation.
Yeah, but no, everything's a balance in that regard, like you stated. So it's just crazy like that. Like I said, the gay marriage stuff, I do not know. For that, I would have to look more into that one. I can't. So I have no answers on that. I'll plead the fifth on that one.
I at least know that the decision has been talked about being overturned because I
Gotcha.
don't
No, I
think
know. I
it's
heard that.
that.
I heard when you said in your video. Yeah, and that's but I'm not looking to see if that could be. I mean, be changed. Whatever. It's such a weird thing because remember in the '90s. I'll give. Let's go with a simple question. Don't ask, don't tell. That was passed by the Democrats back underneath Clinton, and then
Mm.
on Obama, then they changed it. They changed it to that you have don't ask, don't tell. They took it away. So it's like 10 years, and that got changed.
Yeah, I
So
mean, honestly, nobody should be caring about what someone else is doing in their bedroom as long as they are not hurting someone innocent.
amen. That's what I always say.
It's
I
too
don't.
easy.
If for like for the evangelists, whatever they're like, oh, what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Sex with what's next? Dogs and cats. I'm like, they're already done doing that. You just don't see it.
I mean, nah. Let's be honest. Some of those evangelists are part of the people that are dealing
True,
with dogs, cats,
true.
horses, goats.
Hey, I always said that guy in Alabama who was messing with that pig, and that pig bite off his penis. I'm like, hey, the pig was saying no.
You got what you asked
That
for.
pig says, not tonight, Bubba. Mm-mm.
But that's the thing. It's like I understand you don't like it. You don't have to like and accept everyone. If you're so worried about your position in heaven, work on what you're supposed to do to be the best person you can be.
Sure.
Otherwise, you are doing the exact opposite of what you claim to be.
Well, yeah. And again, a lot of people out there, it's funny because again, but it's going to like you. Okay, let's flip it, like you just said. It could be some of those same evangelists who be doing that horrible stuff. That is true. And then also, it's funny some of the same what do you call it? Some of the same the same leftists. And again, I don't know if you've been around, so I'll let you like. I call leftists extreme, just like your right wing. I call leftists that. I don't
No,
know
I get that.
if you're
Look, I
libertarian.
treat them the same way. I treat them.
If you're liberal and stuff, I can work with you. But leftists, but the same leftists, the one who say, "Oh, we should do this for minorities. We should do this for minorities." Are the first people, the quickest people to say, "Clarence Thomas is an enter." I was like, oh, "Of course."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, y'all don't care about nothing. Just rant and rave like crazy people. And the thing, and let's be honest, most of the states that most people are being violent in right now and stuff are states the people are saying my body, my choice, and all this stuff, blah blah blah, are in states that still have abortion.
Yeah.
Now the part that hurt, like Andre said it in his video, and we've stated before, is like, yeah, rich people is only people who go to another state and have their abortion. People who are poor cannot make that travel, can't do that. That is true. That's why I said when these people pass these laws about raising taxes and all that stuff like that, who you think gonna leave the state? Rich people. Ain't the poor people who got the money to move to get another job now.
No, but the more taxes you put on poor people, the harder they have to work, and the harder it is for them to get anywhere, which means the wealth stays with the people that are at the top.
But yeah, because they can move.
Yeah, they can move around, go to areas where the stuff is cheaper.
Hell, they're gonna leave the country.
or yeah, that too.
Yeah,
they can do all that.
Back before Macron, there was Frankie Hollande, who was the president of France. He ran on 80% tax on the rich. 80% tax on the rich. That's what he ran on. So 80 cents on the dollar, your money goes to the government. Okay, he won. He imposed that. What the rich did was, hey, we're leaving. We could sell our mash de chateau. They were selling their mash de chateaus in France for like, instead of selling for $45 million, $2 million, or $1 million. Some of them sold it for $500,000. Take it, and they took their money and got to other country. A good amount of the rich left. So where did that 80% go? Because you in the middle class got kicked up to the higher bracket.
Yep.
And then of course those same people, what they did? Hey, take it off of us. We don't want. He had to take off the tax. I'm not saying rich don't put his fair share, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. I'm just saying you gotta be. Is everybody has a limit to certain things, and rich people could do more things than me or Andre or anybody below us. That's why I always have to say, rich will stay rich, the poor will fight for the crumbs, and the middle class will bend over and get screwed in the butt.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
So we're just stay in that. So yes, this law will affect a lot of poor people. That is true, but it still has a point where me and you just talked about. You got to take care. You got to take care of your body. You're responsible for you. I mean, that's the one right you have. That's God given. Only you responsible for you.
Mm.
You know what you got. You're responsible for what you put in your body. If you put a lot of junk food in your body, you might get diabetes. You might get this. You might get that. Again, generational, of course, can happen. It can happen through genetics. But I'm just saying, you eat a lot of food, you're gonna get heart disease, all this other stuff. You eat a lot of salty stuff, you get high blood pressure. It's only you. Nobody. If somebody ain't feeding, forcing that in your mouth, that's on you.
Mm. It does boil down to that being the thing. Now, as far as like the laws of the land, they can have some effect on it, but they don't have total effect on it. I think that's another thing that people tend to overlook is that your personal responsibility yourself should be to know at least what things you are able to do and what you can't do and how to work around those things so that you can, do some of the stuff that you would like to do, but do it responsibly and with thought.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like the laws of the land, unless you know who to put in the right place and at the right time, we're all screwed.
Exactly. All right. Before I think, like I said, we had this before let me see. Let's just have a couple of the chat before we go here. 25,860. Good. That's a good amount of people in here. So let's see here. How these women are all being affected with contraception just magically became pregnant out of nowhere. Truly a miracle. Okay, Kevin, sorry about that. I'm not gonna go down that road right there. I guess I got a lot of comments of people who had, one woman saying men talking about abortion stuff like that. Again, I don't care about that stuff because yes, men are talking about this. It's still there's some cases where a lot of men like they talk to women and they had the children post that happens to some women and they want to have the abortion even though they agreed to have the child with the guy and there's a lot of stuff. Okay, this is why we said just a while ago, like Audrey just said, you should have the conversation and make sure that's the right person you want to have a child with in the first place. And the funny part about this is everybody talk about having condom conversations to have a kid. What about them AIDS and HIV and STDs? That's even just as bad too. Not just a baby.
Yeah.
Not just a
I mean,
baby.
but people tend to want to forget about the things that are not in front of them at all times. Selective
Exactly.
ADHD, as I like to call it.
Yes. Yes. Oh, you know what? You read about it. And I forgot about it. I forgot to bring that up. And Anna Rodriguez excuse me, from New Mexico, talking about. I forgot that it's only 5% of the people who has the abnormalities that we talked about that should have the abortion and stuff like that. Like I said, if you had, the baby has an anomaly that she can't, whatever, the mother have very tough pregnancy or incest and rape, stuff like that. It's only 5%. The other 95%, that's what people want to figure out, and that's what she's bringing up right here. Like according to the USA Today, Anna was bringing up when it did a poll and look at most of the what do you call it, some of the clinics and stuff like that. They also said out that most of that was just because
not because of pregnancy problems and stuff like I just stated out, which she's correct. And I remember talking about that. And then another thing is too Planned Parenthood. Again, I ain't whatever, but I the only reason I don't like Planned Parenthood because of who's founded it. That's all. Ain't nothing else other than that again. Because if you want to have to go abort your kid, go ahead do that, whatever. But because of Margaret Sanger, not my problem. She don't want. She was a eugenics for black people. That's why I don't like Planned Parenthood.
Hmm.
She literally said black people are weeds. We need to kill them off. So that's why she made sure that she put Parenthood in a lot of black communities. And again, we have followed with her ruling so far because we have not grown as a percentile. We've been between 13 and 15% for the last 60 years.
Yeah. And you would think, with our numbers being so low, why do you feel threatened enough to want to get rid of us?
Ah, that's a good question. Yeah.
So, like, it would make me think, what did you do or what did your ancestors do? Because we know not everybody's directly involved. But what did your ancestors do that you feel so horrible about that you want to erase the memory of it?
Yeah, I don't get that part. But again, with that, Asians has grown, Hispanics have grown a lot. Some illegals, but most Hispanics have multiple kids as well too in that regard. So yeah, it has grown. But
Hmm.
the black population, we basically we do by no like I said, it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago in New York, there were more black babies aborted than born. That's
Yeah.
that's weird. That's kind of like wow, really? So again, I'm saying I'm not against abortion because again, you want to do that, that's what your thing. My thing is not on my money, but other than that, you do what you gotta do with other stuff. The same thing with the trans stuff and everything. People say you want to go do that, do it on your money. Go right ahead. No,
Yeah.
the kids part, we got a problem. I'm not down with that at all. You want to be 18 and above, do what you want to do. I don't care what you're doing. If you're not, like Andre said, if you ain't hurting nobody, you ain't doing anybody wrong, that's all right. So Jeff England from New York. I like how they act like women just mysteriously get pregnant through no fault of their own. Some women are doing that, which I don't like. Yes, not
Yeah, some.
all, not all, but some women are doing that. Not all of them.
If I were to give it a number, a large enough number, I
Mhm.
say it's about 55%.
Okay.
If I were to give a large enough number,
Yeah.
because of different things I've seen and I've like different studies I've seen pop up because I've followed a lot of different stuff
Mm-hmm.
over the last year or so.
Mm-hmm.
So a large number of women just say, "Well, it's the guy's fault" all the time, and then there's the still large but not as large number of women saying, "Well, yeah, we need to take personal responsibility for what we've done." But the women that do that honestly get called pick me's, quote unquote, because they want to make a decision that's better for them personally than to make a decision. Well, no, not better for them personally, more responsible for them personally than a decision that is just better for them financially. Which, let's be honest,
Mm-hmm.
I have my grievances with this particular system, but the child support system, the family court system,
Oh yeah, I
is
know that.
heavily skewed in a particular direction. So,
Yep.
and there have been things that have been done with it that have crippled all sorts of people that don't normally get talked about.
That is true. And you brought up in your second video, which I didn't play, but again, you could I'll put a link into the Tempo FM chat and stuff like that, so you guys could go check out his second video. He had two videos. Richard Ruber from New York. I find it interesting that some people who just last week couldn't define what a woman was now using the word all over the place.
Yeah. That,
Well, no, not all the time because AOC and the others said birthing people, which whatever.
see, I have issues with that,
Well, I have
mostly
issues with that
because
too. Go ahead.
I understand some things get redefined over time, but there are some things that don't change in definition. I
No.
don't again, I'm not one to tell people how to live their lives or who to be or whatever, because you know who you are. You know what you want to be deep down.
Mhm.
You know those things once you take the time to learn about yourself. So if someone wants to transition from being a man to a woman, fine. Then they are a trans woman, a transitioned woman. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you being that. The only thing I always say is that if you're involving yourself with anyone romantically, male
Tell
or
them.
female in that regard, tell them.
Yeah.
Don't hide it. And I've unfortunately come across so many different videos of people bragging about hiding that. And I know that number is small, but it's
Yes.
still a dangerous game to play with all the reports that you hear of a guy finding something out that he kills the person that he slept with,
That
or
and I've showed
brutally,
the. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
or potentially brutally beats them. Like, don't hide that type of information from somebody. Allow them to accept you for who you are. Don't force them to accept you for who you're not.
Exactly. And what I want to add on was I've also showed you stories where women also have done that to other women because they pretended to be a man and they got and they kill transgender men too, which is sad. But don't mess with people's feelings like that. Just don't. You
It's a
tell
dangerous game to play.
it is a dangerous kick. It's just a mixture of so many emotions that people will not think rationally. Some might, but a lot don't. Most cases, and then you get
Yeah,
killed and all that, and that's not cool. Don't mess with people's feelings like that.
especially especially for somebody who was hoping to build a family with you. And I know this is the thing that I've heard a lot. Well, there are some women or some men that are just infertile. That's not the thing though. Like, you're going under false pretense. It's it's not like, okay, I found that this person can't have children, but they are who they say they were. No, I found out I can't have children with this person because they told me that they're one thing and they're not.
Yep, that's mostly on the women's side. The women one who did that, that's why they kill because they're thinking they're gonna have a child and all that stuff, and they're playing around with them.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It is dangerous. Jabba Muhammad, Jabba Muhammad from Egypt. Does these people understand that they're responsible for their own actions? I think absolutely disgusting that they don't care about a human life. The most frustrating argument to me is that they try to make distinction between human and a personhood, and being human makes you a person by default. My last thing I
Right.
would say is the video that you played with the Virginia governor saying on the radio show basically makes me feel bad. I have no problem with people do with their lives, but when you get past a certain point with a child, it's basically murder. And I don't know if you saw that video, if you ever heard of that Ralph Norton when he did in Virginia, when he was on the radio and he said, "We're gonna have the baby. We're gonna make sure we're gonna resuscitate it if he has difficulties. We're going to and that's the video in the description. Oh, we're gonna make sure it's alright. We're gonna talk to the mother, and then we'll decide if we want to keep it or kill it." I'm like, the baby's already born. Just give it for
At
adoption.
that yeah, at that point, that is there's no way, no two ways about that. That is 100% murder
Yeah,
because you allowed that life to come into being.
yeah. And
That's
then
murder.
I was like,
Now,
yes,
do you want to talk about early on abortions? You want to make the argument? I can understand the scientific side of it somewhat, but if you allow that child to be born and then that's murder. And the bad thing is, I have a feeling that's going to start happening.
well, something New York and California, near California, I think Washington, late stage abortion. Yeah, they have no
Hmm.
problem with that, which is I think that's horrible. But that's what I think. Like I said, the first trimester, majority of the country, from Pew Research to CNN to all, they all said, okay, the first trimester, yeah, we don't like it, but we cool with that. But once the fetus turn into a child, or as what they call it, because the wordplay that these people
Once
like to
the, once
use,
their once their mind is there, you are killing someone.
yeah,
Once their mind is there, you are killing someone. Before then, you have the opportunity to say, okay, I'm just removing a lump of flesh.
got
That's
you.
as horrible as it sounds.
No, I know what you're trying to say. I know what you're trying to say because again, you had people who was like, "Oh, when people, most Christians and most people say is at inception, they were like, oh, it's not alive then. I'm like, well, two live things that came from a mother and a father came together. They were like, the sperm was not just, oh, I'm floating away. They were swimming towards the egg. They were alive. The sperm is alive and the egg is alive. But again, that's not my argument. I'm just saying for when people say
But
that stuff. Yeah.
but just to play devil's advocate,
Go ahead.
just to play devil's advocate,
No, go ahead.
anytime if you were to say, as weird as it's going to sound, you could, in theory, say anytime a man masturbates and ejaculates,
He
and it
kills a lot
does
of.
not kill them, yes, he's killing millions of children.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
You could make that argument.
I'm
Now,
not even arguing that. I am not even arguing. You're right.
logically, that does not make any sense. But at the same time, because it's living tissue and it has to living cells and tissue.
Well, like I said, it's the same thing with women because you gotta expose the egg every month.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying the two of them combined make something. But again, I got with this right in that regard. So I understand that.
I get that. I think that's the next argument that someone's going to run with, because I've been trying to figure out what arguments people would run with behind this, and that's
Yeah.
the one I can think of.
Got
So
you.
it's going to be like, well, you have to tell men to stop self-gratifying.
Got you. Richard. No, go ahead. Sorry. Oh,
I was going to say, because if you're technically going to make abortion potentially fully illegal, then you would have to, and because they're still gunning for who you're sleeping with, then they're also going to eventually gun for self-gratification.
good. Richard Holt from UK, from London, UK. Well said, you guys. Just a perfect timing as my daughter asked me about these issues, so I can reinforce my response and what I could share this because not many people out there have conversations like this anymore. I'm like, yeah, that's what Project Overmake is all about, Richard. Again, like I said, we have different platforms. We are on Spotify, we are on Stitcher, we are on Google Podcasts, we're on Nico, which is Japan Live now, You Now, which is basically Eastern Europe, Tempo FM, which is Western Europe. And again, we're on so many platforms. That's why I'm happy you shared. We're on YouTube. I forgot about that. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We're on that too. So yeah, share what you can share. Go to YouTube, subscribe, help us out in the subscribership. I mean, if you can, because that's YouTube, Spotify is the only two that has an archive that I could archive most of the stuff with. Everything else, like Tempo FM, when I put a video and I got most of my views to you guys right there, it's mostly a radio show kind of thing, a podcast. So the video gets taken out every 30 days. So if it goes up today, 30 days from now is gonna be taken down because they don't want to keep the bandwidth, which I understand it, and I totally get that.
Yeah, it's basically like what Twitch does.
Yeah. So that I get that. So YouTube and YouTube, Facebook has in a way too, but it depends if they don't ban nothing because they go back and forth with their stuff. But YouTube and Spotify. So you go to Spotify, you go Project Over Mike on Spotify, and you can see any past videos that we have and links, whatever. So yes, that's what we do. That's why we do this chat in that regard. Dennis Young saying the same thing too. I feel happy that you guys are talking this issue, even though a lot of people let the mainstream media give them their thoughts, and most people just read the headlines and don't understand what's going on. Yeah. Jenny Williams from Washington D.C. Thank you for posting this video. A lot of people don't understand that this is gone back to the state rights, and that Roe v. Wade, which you just put up, even RGB didn't like Roe v. Wade because it was not a true law. Yes. A lot of people don't know that. It really was not a true law. It was not. And again, the law was basically, it passed on privacy, which again, I'm good with that. Not everybody should know what's going on between me, like that. So that's what it was part. But because abortion was a part of that, that's why people think this is Roe v. Wade is an abortion law. It's not.
It's the thing that popularized it, and that's why so many people were against it. But If people honestly didn't get sensationalized as easily, and they stopped for a moment to say, okay, hold on, if this is happening, what does that mean? Like they only see the surface layer, and that's where they're sticking. They're not attempting to look any further into it. That's the big problem.
Yeah. Chia Chaluis, again, sorry if I pronounce the name wrong, from Spain. Doing Chia Chaluis. Thank you for the video. Again, I'm learning more stuff and I love conversations like this. Sad a lot of people don't do things like this. Yeah, that's all. And again, that's the whole point of we doing this video right here. Um, okay. And me, Andre, and I talked to you about this, Andre. This one coming through Nico Nico, but the problem is though the translate might not be good.
Yeah, no, it is not.
Let's see. Let's try. Your source is your source. Um, Osaka. I know that part. But your source is. Oh, you. I'm hoping I pronounced the name right. I. I'm translating. I am sick of the supplement being so damn. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, the translation f that up. I just really now know hey, where that's not that is nowhere. We never talked about that, so that's wrong. That is so wrong. Um, okay, Michael Miller from Miami, Florida. I haven't seen this many people upset of not being to perform a human sacrifice since Cortez conquered the Aztecs.
Mm, ooh,
You people are
that would
yes,
stink.
some of you people are bad. Some of you people are bad.
That would sting.
Oh my goodness. You know what? But
Uh,
yeah, I want to thank, like I said, thank you guys for coming in. We got up to like 26,000 people over all broadcasts. Thank you guys much for that. Again, remember, if you want to help us out, go to YouTube, subscribe, share the video, thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't care about that. If you want to, if you want a data plan and stuff like that, go to Spotify, Project Open Mic on Spotify or Stitcher or Anchor. Those are audio podcasts that should not take much data from your phone. If you want to do that. With that said, yeah, I think we got to it. Any final words you want to say, Andre?
I mean, one, this was a great way to reintroduce me back to the channel because I've been so personally focused over the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I want to see the best for people, and when I see something that's just out of place to me mentally, whether I'm right or wrong, I'm going to say something about it. But the difference is that I'm at least open to communicating and learning, and I think that's what more people need to be able to do. Open to communicate and learning, because I know we didn't talk, it didn't get covered in this discussion, but in my second video, I did say something along the lines. Sometimes a person's origin is not the thing that you should look at, but whether the information that they're attempting to give you is at least viable or is something you can work with.
Yes.
We have so many people that ignore different historians that will tell you things at face value to your face, and they will fully ignore it because the person's not, oh, well, he's talking about a woman's issue, he's not a woman, screw him. Or, well, he's talking about a black issue, he's Hispanic, screw him. That should
Yes.
not be the case. It should be, hey, this person actually did the research. They actually went through and looked up different information and they came to a certain finding and they are giving this finding to you to show you what could be happening or what you're in need of avoiding. Sometimes it's more important to understand what the message is than to worry about who the messenger is.
Exactly. Exactly. Like and it happens. I would say that's about maybe 80 to 90%. Because sometimes the wrong person who got a right message. It just but people still will focus on. Really, would you? We know what you did. Why would you say that?
Yeah, in those cases, I understand it because that's like somebody's trying to pull the wool over your eyes.
Yeah.
But
So
if you're working with a clean slate, at least give the person a shot.
yes. I'll be reminiscent if I don't say this. So yes. John Williams from New York. The most infuriating thing about the argument is a lot of these people are saying "my body, my choice." When I hear Joy Reid from View and most of these TV hosts saying about, "Oh, this is my body, my choice," but then when you talk about, "Hey, what about the nurses and stuff to take the vaccine?" and they say their body, their choice, no, you should not do that. Yeah, I get that point.
Mm,
I get that point.
point for point. It
There
makes sense.
you go. So, like I said, it's good to have this in this conversation, guys. I thank you guys for giving me. I've been taking, and this point came from Andre, from his video that I used to watch on Game Idea, which is his channel that I met him or whatever. And you can also see it's in the link to go see the second video, like he just talked about. Thank you for giving us your time, your mind, your eyes, your ears. Thank you for giving us your time. Again, he has a playlist on the YouTube channel, but I'm gonna be putting it on the Spotify as well too, and also on the Anchor, where you guys could watch his videos. He got Andre's mic, which is basically his thoughts on certain topics and everything. Go over there, give it a view, give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, comment. Have the open conversation on that point of with that. So with that said, thank you for giving your time, like the time, and remember, evil comes in all shapes, size, color, creed. Evil's evil, and remember, I always said, people are stupid, individuals smart. Please be that smart individual, and check out Dr. Shadow Chasers, which will have been this spot, but then also check out Philosophy by Ken. And of course, come back here Thursday for Project Open Mic and Friday for the side check. Hope you guys have a good, safe 4th of July weekend. Don't do nothing crazy. As we heard, fireworks already don't going off by Andre. Don't do nothing crazy. Okay?
Fireworks and helicopters.
Yes. Don't drink and drive. Please be safe in that regard. Catch you guys back here Thursday and Friday. And again, check out his it's a playlist on YouTube, a Project Open Mic on YouTube of a lot of his videos, and I think he said he's trying to get back into it. So keep a look, watch out for
I will be making more discussions because there are a multitude of different topics that I have now at least been engrossed in personally that I can give a perspective.
No problem.
And I will talk about a wide variety of things.
Yes. Well, your playlist is a wide variety, just like Doc right now. He's jumping. It's not the same. It's all yeah. He's doing the same thing too. So yes. Okay, we'll go with that and see how things go. All right, guys. So thank you, and you all have a good night. Again, be safe out there for people in America for the 4th of July, and please, all the other people in other countries, be safe. Take care of yourself. Peace out.
Peace out, everybody.